This brief video review is on the AC Infinity Airlift 14. It's actually the Airlift T14. It's the 14-inch ventilation fan. It's louvered. It comes in, I think, anywhere from 10-inch, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20-inch. I got the 14-inch. I turned it on manually here. It's running at full speed right now. I ordered the 14 because I looked at the air volume, the air handling volume, the CFM, and from the 12 to the 14, it took a huge jump from about 850 CFM up to, like, I think 1400 CFM. It like doubled from 12 to 14. It was the biggest jump in size in CFM in their series. Anyway, this video is just to say that I am so far thoroughly impressed with this system. The flexibility of this controller. This is the I think they call it the 69 Pro controller. It's basically hooked up to the fan, and they have humidifiers, they have heaters, they have smart plugs, they have oscillating fans, they have axial inline fans. They have a whole range of products that connect to these things that can be controlled by this controller. And they're basically connected via USB-C. And this particular unit here, I believe it's a 4-channel. So you could have 4 different devices or 4 of the same devices, or any combination of them connected to this, and control them separately. There's 4 channels on here, and then there is a temperature and humidity probe. That's where I've got mine mounted there. And it's got a really super long cord on it here, but that temperature humidity probe seems to react really quick. It takes I think it takes a reading about every second, because I sat and watched it last night, and it seemed to be, the 10th of the degree was changing by the second. So it takes really fast readings. And as far as accuracy, the sweet thing about this thing is the flexibility. You can set high and low parameters. In other words, whether you need to cool or whether you need to heat, whether you need to dehumidify or whether you need to humidify. You can set parameters to bring the temperature and humidity down, both, one or the other, or the temperature and humidity up, one or the other. You can just do temperature if you want and leave the humidity out of it. You can do just humidity if you want and leave the temperature out of it, or you can combine the two. And you can program in offsets. So like, for instance, right now I've got a 4-degree offset on this. That way the fan, when it hits its temperature to start cooling, because right now I'm in that stage anyway, when it, let's say, hits, I've got it set for 75 degrees, right out of the box, as soon as it drops down to 74 degrees, it shuts off. So it would be constantly going on and off, on and off, on and off, But you can set a differential so that I've got about a 4-degree spread on here. That way it kicks on, it'll take it down to 71 degrees, turn off. It'll be about a half an hour, depending on how warm out it is, and then it kicks on again. Another real cool feature is what they call transition temperature setting. I would call it ramping. Let's say, for example, you've got your target temperature set for 75 degrees. When you hit that target temperature, you could have it set to where the fan or your device comes on to maybe level 2 out of 10. And then as the temperature goes up, the setting ramps up to where each degree or every 2 degrees it goes up a couple of settings. So instead of all or nothing, it ramps up slowly as the temperature goes up. So you're not getting an all or nothing type effect. It's more of a gradual effect. And I think that's an important feature to mention here. I'm going to be going over a lot of the other settings here in just a moment whenever I take a look at the application. But I don't want to forget either that you have full control over calibration of this thing. Calibration of the temperature setting, calibration of the humidity setting, and calibration of the vapor setting. So if you think that the thing is off or you need to adjust it, you've got full control. Another thing that I was really thoroughly impressed with was the shipping packaging. The box this thing came in is not one of those paper thin Chinese Christmas ornament cardboard boxes. It is like the double thick high-end shipping box, the kind of box that your say a Denon receiver would come in. Something they actually figured out that if they spend a couple extra cents and package it well, it's a lot less trouble, hassle, and expense for them in the long run if the product gets to the user and it's still in one piece and operable. This little thing is magnetic here. You can put it on hooks. That little base flips out there. You can even set it on a table if you wanted to. It flips out like a little stand. Oh, my poor Spanish tomatoes here. These were outdoor plants, and we just had crap for weather this summer. I mean, I had to pull these things in about 2 weeks ago, or they were going to start molding, and they're starting to snap back now, and they're just now starting to flower. But so these are rescue plants. They're a little bit pitiful, but I think I'll be able to salvage them. Yes, I know I'm still in the Stone Ages here with my lighting equipment, running a 1,000-watt metal halide or 1,000-watt high-pressure sodium with 1,000-watt Galaxy digital logic ballast, and my 4-foot fluorescent VHO 95-watt tube fixtures. Yeah, that's right out of the 90s, isn't it? So anyway, I can assure you I've got some new equipment coming, and I'm looking forward to it. A week from now, I should be hanging my new ceramic metal halide, my CMH fixtures. I've got a pair of the Sun System 630 watt fixtures. They're the dual tube fixtures with the Philips, Philips 3100K tubes. So that should be cool. It's 120 or 240 volt. I'm going to set them up for 240 volt because it uses less amperage that way. So I'll set up a couple of 240 volt 15 amp plugs over there. Anyway, that's about it. I downloaded the AC Infinity app onto my Mac laptop computer, And here we've got the opening page here that first comes up, and you can see it's got the date and time and your connection status, and it's got the current temperature being picked up by the probe on the controller, humidity level, and the vapor level. And you've also got there, it's telling you the current status of the fan, that it's in auto mode, and that the fan motor is not running. That's the 0 there. So, and then you can see the ports that are not in use currently, the 2, 3, and 4, that aren't registering anything. So that's the opening page. Here's the next page on the app, and a lot of the same information, but you've got a graphic now that is displaying where your settings are at. It's got your set point, and it's kind of giving you a graphic of how close you are to the set point and what everything's doing. Just to recap it real quick, you got your temperature, humidity, the vapor level. Currently the fan is still off, it's at 0. The lower left hand is the mode, it's currently in auto mode. Lower right hand is showing the minimum and maximum current settings for the fan. Minimum is 0, it's off, it's off. When it's on, it's at 10, all the way up. So, you know, that is adjustable too. You could have it to where the maximum setting is 5 or 6 on a scale of 10. Right now, my temperature, my set point is 80 degrees. So if we watch here, see it just hit 80 degrees. And if you look up there to the right, you can see that it's climbing. It'll hit 10. The fan is now on all the way. Now down below that is where you set your triggers or your set points. And you've got that for everything. You've got that for your temperature, your humidity, and the vapor. And you've got high and low triggers. And you can preset those triggers and just basically turn them on and off as you'd like. So you can pre-configure all your settings and then just come back and turn them on and off as needed. In this close-up here, you can see that if there's any point where there's any question about anything, they've thrown in instructions to make sure everything is perfectly clear. This is another nice thing. It's got a running graph here of everything that's been going on. Down here, this is the fan or your device, whether it's on or off. You can see it was on, it went off. It came back on, it went off. Boom. It's on now and running. You can see the green line is that vapor density. Blue line is humidity. Red line, temperature. And here's some screenshots of the myriad of other settings that are available on this app. Of course, you can pause on any of these and look them over closer at your leisure. They're pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, this is just a really, really good intuitive app. Starting with the 10-inch, here's the specs. 54 watts, 631 CFM at 67 decibels. The 12-inch,
54 watts, 830 CFM at 62 decibels. The 14-inch, 70 watts, 1513 CFM at 68 decibels of sound. The 16-inch comes in at 100 watts, 2560 CFM and 70 decibels. And the 20-inch comes in at 230 watts, 3425 on the CFM and 65 decibels on the sound. Here's the current prices. The basic 10-inch unit is $129. The 10-inch unit with the 4-channel controller is $169. The 12-inch unit with the basic speed controller is $169. The 12-inch unit with the 4-channel controller is $189. The 14-inch with the basic speed controller is $179. And the 14-inch unit with the deluxe 4-channel controller is $219. The 16-inch basic is $219. And the 16-inch with the deluxe 4-channel controller is $269. And the 20-inch with the basic controller is $299. And the 20-inch unit with the 4-channel controller is $349.